Welcome back to Game Quest. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tony.
And that is Azrael, the Angel of Death. Hello, Azrael. Wait, is that the portal to Eden? Can we just go back to Eden?
We might have been able to just go back to Eden.
I thought he said specifically we could never go back to it, Abaddon.
Uriel has led the Hellguard against him.
Oh.
It is as you foretold. The Hellguard will fall.
Angel of Death, serve me one last time.
This...
Wow, really?
What the... This is...
I like how they're getting out of his way so he can go and fight the Destroyer. Look at him! He looks like Abaddon.
She mistook me for someone else. She loved him, and I believe that he loved her long ago, before all this. Foolishly, he chose duty above all, and died for it. Will you do the same? Heaven hunts you. Hell hates
Heaven got the hell out of my way so that I could kill you specifically.
cares not whether you live or die. Join me, war. Like a great sword, I will raise you up, and our enemies will shatter against us. The spoils of 1,000 victories will be yours. Or serve the justice of a corrupt council, and a creator who abandons his most faithful. I offer you this choice, horseman. Would you serve in heaven, or rule in hell?
Huh.
I choose what once the coward did not.
He just chucks her aside. That was kind of...
I don't feel like this game is good enough to basically start trying to fucking quote Milton like that.
I'm being attacked by a dragon.
I'm being attacked by a middle schooler's found fiction about what the apocalypse should be like. Oh right, those consumables you were going to buy on your way to the final battle.
Well,
The funny thing about this is all that training you did on your way to this fight.
I mean... One second. Yeah, I didn't buy all of them, did I? I'll just pop them right here, and... Do I need the mask? Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any kind of secrets being revealed by it. The only weapon strong enough to harm the Destroyer, remember.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? He just moves so fast, though. What am I supposed to do? I don't understand.
I don't know, have you considered countering? Have you considered blocking? Have you considered achieving your Chaos form?
Hey, block works.
Oh, cool. Well, at least you stopped being hit by a freaking freight train that looks like a dragon. That do any damage?
I don't think so. At least I didn't notice. I might have. Come on.
This is a thrilling fight so far. He just like runs in, whaps at you once, and then leaves.
It's kind of weird that this is how it's happening. Like,
You're slowly running out of that defense here. Oh. Oh, right, you have a horse you could be riding.
there we go.
That do something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it actually did. This is how the fight's supposed to go. I'm supposed to use my horse.
What was that move?
I became the razor blade.
The whole screen is shaking while you stab this guy. How did you just fall down again? We didn't even stab you yet.
Yeah, that is like... I'm kind of confused by how that happened. How hard do I hit? Oh, he's in the sky.
Fairly hard. You know what'd be hilarious?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that meter, basically. Okay. I was gonna say, it'd be hilarious if you could go Chaos Form on your horse, and then you and your horse became Chad.
Oh, dude, that would be amazing.
Unfortunately, that's clearly not an option.
I'm disappointed they never thought of that.
Oh, I'm sure the thought occurred to them at some point. A lot of thoughts occurred to these people that I questioned. Really gonna just... Okay, there we go. Wow, you're just regaining a lot of health every time you do that. Did you see that?
Yep. This is much more of the fight than I thought I was supposed to have.
Oh, I see. You're supposed to go on the sword side that doesn't have the claw attack.
Yeah. I'd like my health back, please. Oh, I should probably not be standing in one spot.
Can I just go ahead and say that I'm kind of disappointed that so far the apocalyptic Hell Dragon endgame boss is the least eventful fight of the game?
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
Abaddon's just really bad at this fighting thing.
I mean, he was kind of rocking my shit earlier, but that's because I was being deliberately stupid.
Well, I mean, it was because you didn't realize what the gimmick was first. But, like, the dude lost to Straga.
I mean, who loses to Straga about somebody actively fucking them?
That's gonna hit you. Okay. Oh, what? Okay.
Did I do enough damage to do that earlier and I just didn't notice because I was on my horse?
I don't know. What is this?
Um,
You're gonna cut the wings off.
why am I being healed? I didn't get hurt this fight.
Did you just win? Is he dying?
You shouldn't be dead already. This is at least impressive than the other boss fights.
Oh, hey.
There we go.
He's just literally Abaddon now. He's not even pretending. Hey, Tony, you know what you can do?
Yeah?
Take out this Sephiroth-looking motherfucker. He looks like a 40k Sephiroth. That's what he looks like.
Oh my god.
You know what you could do?
Yeah?
You got a Chaos Form. We're not even being sporting about this. Wait.
Did he just knock me out of that? Oh my god, that actually is kind of impressive.
Is this one of those cutscene fights you have to lose, or...?
No, I don't think I'm gonna have to lose it. Come on. Come on. Oh, wow. Oh my god.
That's
Oh
not
my
even
God.
blocking anything. He's just swishing it around like a wand.
Oh, this is... I'm actually happy about this. I dodged into that.
Oh man, look at all that health you've already gotten back, though. You paused.
Yep. And it punished me for pausing. There we go. There we go. Huh, you can teleport.
Keep shooting! Oh wait, we should probably dodge those. That looks like a thing you should not be hit by.
Surprisingly easy to dodge. Ouch! I really like baseball, don't I? Okay. You know, he was a little bit more talkative earlier. I wonder what happened.
Well, I mean, he lost a sword fight, and then you made a mockery of his thing to, like, throw rocks at you.
I mean,
I also like the build-up where it's like, Angel of Death, serve me one last time, and then he just yeets you into the final boss
I was
fight.
so caught off guard. I didn't realize I was happening. He just says it and then it happens.
Yeah, not close enough. Oh well.
Am I even dodging these?
I don't think you're... Are you getting hurt?
I don't think I am. Can you lock on him? There he is.
Behind you. Oh, nope.
Oh, that's what this...
Oh, right, you haven't had stones skinned up. No wonder you're taking damage. Mash harder!
You have taught me something, Abaddon. Sometimes duty must be cast aside to do what must be done. It is not for duty that I kill you now.
This is entirely necessary for this fight. Please tell me that I didn't actually kill him.
Uriel.
Reap what you have sown, betrayer.
Yeah, after the beating you gave her, I'm not entirely sure that she... Did it not show what actually happened?
Oh, hey, the seventh seal.
Sweet.
You had to know it was a one-way ticket.
Council.
They knew you'd never play executioner because of your precious honor. They let you take the fall. They knew you'd butcher everyone involved to clear your name. And you did.
No!
Patience, whore. I've got some for you, too. I'll take that. If it were to get broken, you might get ideas. Like not going back in your little cage. It's tragic, really. You had freedom in the palm of your hand, and you lost it. What's so damn funny? Even you wouldn't laugh at your own funeral.
I'm laughing at yours.
Next sacramentum. The death oath is complete.
So, question.
Hell God, bitch! What did you do?
You know what happens when the seventh seal is broken?
Summons the horseman.
No, no! I'm going to pull your guts out through your halo!
Wait.
Do they have halos?
Yeah, I just thought about it now.
Getting up. I'll just kill you again.
Now this is the part where you realize that war was actually being held actively back
Oh, yeah.
throughout this entire game.
What are you going to do? Fight the council? Fight everyone?
And with the seventh seal broken, he can literally just be as strong as he wants.
Never get away. You hear me?
Oh, this is just bullying.
Don't forget.
Well,
You knew. You knew what would happen here, what I would do. That's why you spared me.
No,
Then why?
because I would not have the last of heaven's honor die with its champion.
All debts are repaid. The duty I uphold. It may call me to raise my sword against you.
Yeah, whatever.
And if that day comes, I won't hesitate. You will be hunted. The White City for certain. The Council, and there will be others. You would wage this war alone?
First off, ironic.
No. Not alone.
Get off, there are 4 riders.
oh boy. I like how that's how they ended this game, and then Darksiders 2 and 3 did not follow up on that.
They're prequels. They're prequels on this.
Well, prequels and side stories, technically, because they happened during the same time period. Doesn't Darksiders 2 literally end with Death getting on his freaking thing to come to this?
I believe so. But yeah, like, this game is technically, like it ends the furthest in the timeline.
Yeah, like, all of the Darksiders games, like, there was Darksiders Genesis, which I believe is a prequel, and then 2 and 3 are literally side stories that happen at the same time as this game. There is not actually, timeline-wise, a proper sequel to Darksiders, and it literally ends with the 4 horsemen partying up to take on everything.
It's like, y'all, let's squad up. It's time to go fight literally everyone in the
The pattern continues. We have one more game between us and that game.
Oh.
So that was Darksiders.
It has its issues. Like,
I honestly think I did my review for this game in the first episode.
there's like,
Oh, hey, Troy Baker, that makes sense. Moon Bloodgood is Uriel. Oh, I should have been paying more attention to the names. Oh, man. I was like, I just saw Troy Baker, and I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. And I saw Moon Bloodgood, and I'm like, wait, what? Who are these other people?
oh,
But, like, I think, like, my thing, like, at the beginning, where it's, like, it's fun, but it's, like, it's dumb, overwrought fun, in a way, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, Gears of War, for instance, can be looked at one of, Raphael Botgartner. Huh. Anyway, the way this game can be looked at is like Gears of War kind of thing. How it's like, it's a decently made third-person shooter. Like, it's a lot of fun to play. But, like, it's so overwrought, it turns into a bizarre parody of itself. But it's kind of enjoyable. Like, it's enjoyable both straight as what it is, and if you're laughing at it for what it is. Comparing it to Gears of War or, like, old school Linkin Park,
Yeah.
like back in the day, or like 40K, is an incredibly apt comparison. It falls into the same category of an experience. Like, there are a couple of little things that I dislike. Like, I feel like the horse should have come a little bit sooner and been a little bit more prominent.
Yeah.
But I think that's something they did in the second game for that exact reason, because that was just something everyone thought after playing this.
Yeah, I think so too. Curiously enough, for Darksiders 3, they decided to kill off your horse. Don't know why.
I don't know. But, yeah, that's the funny thing where it's just, like, I remember, like, literally I went in this game going, like, I know exactly what I'm getting out of this game, and I was pretty much spot on in that prophecy.
Like, it doesn't lie to you about what it is. It kind of showed, like, the first cutscene kind of says what it's all about.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested in it, you're not interested in it.
It's like the cover art's a strong hint. By the time you get through the tutorial thing and start fighting Stroggy, you know exactly what kind of game you're in for.
Mm-hmm. Like, the gameplay itself is okay. Like, it's a... Like, the sword is... Like, the sword works. Like, I feel like a lot of its actual functionality is just a little bit too short here and there. It's just like, the gameplay's a little bit rusty and short in certain few places.
It feels like it can't decide whether it wants to be a ripoff of Devil May Cry or a ripoff of Zelda in that regard.
Yeah, it feels like it's too pinned down by trying to be both at the same time, honestly.
And so, like, it comes off as kind of like a weird middle ground. I think Darksiders 2 and 3 does a way better job of nailing the aesthetic and the general gameplay loop, if I remember correctly, of, like, people talking about them.
Yeah.
Like, Darksiders 1 was a little rough around the edges because they were still fleshing out what the franchise meant to them. And then Darksiders 2 is, like, all of the lessons learned to make a really good game for the most part.
Mm-hmm. So, like, everything I remember, like, based on that, like, yeah, that's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, as for this game, most of the enjoyment for Darksiders is almost entirely, like, the way the game presents itself. Like...
Well, the gameplay is apparently fun once you start getting the hang of it. I saw you enjoying it more and more the further you got in the game and the more you started remembering stuff and unlocking things or whatever.
It just... Like, basically, like, swordplay isn't bad, but, like, it can be really fun. Like, you can actually, there is depth there to play with. You can dodge, you can block. Like, you can cut people's attacks off before they actually hit you if you know what you're doing. Like, it exists in a way that isn't shallow. It just doesn't go far enough for me, despite, like, what my general incompetence during this gameplay might suggest.
Yeah. You see, the thing is this is where I think the Devil May Cry versus Zelda thing kind of does it a disservice. Because there are certain parts of the gameplay, like the gauntlets were clearly meant to be a part of how you handle, like, groups of enemies and everything. Mm-hmm. And has some pretty integral ways to high-level gameplay. Like, the Scythe, you can get pretty much immediately a version of the Scythe or another. But the Gauntlet is, like, your main crowd control stun, from what I can tell. And you don't get it until, like, a third of the way into the game.
Yeah, they kind of pace the way you get your power-ups a little bit weirdly.
Yeah. Oh, God. That is a mouse cursor. That's just suddenly summoned itself into the middle of the recording.
It's been there for a little bit. Not sure how long.
It doesn't make any sense. Because I left it on the other screen during this recording. But, like, the block and the parry and all that stuff was, like, something you just had immediately in Devil May Cry because of how the combat system worked.
Yeah.
Whereas in Zelda, every new tool or weapon you got opened up some new avenue of gameplay. And they kind of wanted to do both of those at the same time, but they messed it up, I think, in my opinion, and how they handled it, if that makes sense. Because they end up shoving off some of the core gameplay elements of the combat onto sub-items, which would be fine, except for they were already throwing enemies at you that those things would have been useful against before you got them. So it feels less like you're coming into a fight more powerful and more prepared for it, and more like you're walking up with like suddenly you have options that you should have had to begin with fighting an opponent.
Yeah.
Which is like the way you don't want that gameplay loop to feel.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, a lot of the Gauntlet's crowd control makes it really easy for dealing with enemies that, under normal circumstances, could, like, if you're just stuck with your sword or just the scythe, can basically plink you in the back while you're hitting, like, maybe 2 or 3 at a time. And just completely cut off your combos. Meanwhile, the Gauntlets will allow you to lock down these group of normally weaker enemies that you shouldn't have a problem with. But, like, I think if you go back and look at some of the things that happened to me a few times, is like I'll be fighting like 1 or 2 at a time just fine, and then somebody will come up and just slap me in the back, and then I'll just get like comboed repeatedly from that point on, just stun locked for like a good like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's because you didn't have every option that would have made you more able in that fight or something.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the grappling hook lets you like yank enemies back and forth or relocate in the middle of a fight a dramatic distance. There's also like the gauntlets let you stun things. The scythe has decent like basically AoE like kind of things or whatever. The throwing weapon lets you stun people at a distance or use it as a range attack in general. The gun lets you spam like mid-level damage attacks from across the way. Like, Yeah, no, it's like with every part of your arsenal, you become better, which is a good thing, but the way they handled additions to the core gameplay loop feels dissatisfying. Like, you should have been getting enemies that the gun would help with shortly before you get the gun, and then, like, basically they should just become part of the enemy roster after you have the gun.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, what the hell is this guy? Oh, this tool's actually really good for fighting this guy. And then you're able to just mow your way through them more effectively.
Yeah, that probably would have made like the implementation of all your tools feel like more natural.
Yeah. You know, stopping to think about it, I think I know why Darksiders 2 wasn't Darksiders 2, if you catch my drift.
No?
I think they're afraid of that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I see what you mean here. Like,
And the problem is, with the way they're handling it, is Darksiders 1 ended with you being, I mean, like, I'm assuming, because we live in a world, like, right now where I kind of know how it went. As far as, like, the whole sequel thing goes. But the end of this game gets you really hyped for what's going to be coming up next.
yeah.
But then Darksiders 2 is like, oh, hey, here's a side story where it's like about one of the other horsemen and where he was and why he wasn't already there helping during the course of the game. And you're like, yeah, cool. And you get to meet Death and you get to see what he's about and things going on. It's like, oh, hey, this is pretty cool and everything, right?
Yeah.
But that also means that, like, Darksiders 2, as in the follow-up, like what happens after Darksiders 1, the hype built more. And I think because they weren't ready for that game and what the other horsemen would be like, because it's like, oh man, we have to develop these horsemen in one game and do all this stuff. They're like doing these other side story things to give them spotlight and explain what they were doing and like doing stuff. Like, I think Death was kind of working another angle on the same case.
Yeah.
And then I think Fury is her name?
Fury, yeah. Fury.
The plot of her game was trying to like mitigate stuff and like protect what's left of humanity in some ways.
The plot of Fury's game is that the council goes like, because the apocalypse was started early, there's a lot of things like, say, the 7 deadly sins are going and rampaging across the kingdoms of man and just causing a lot of problems for literally everyone involved, both angels and demons. So like, we want you to go clean that up. And Fury, her like basically ever the charitable person, goes, yeah, sure. If you make me the official leader of the Horsemen, I'll go ahead and do that.
Of course. Yeah, because that's going to be something the other 3 respect.
But like, these games have a lot of like, and like, so yeah, it builds up her and what she's about.
Yeah, and it basically brings us like, oh man, that's really cool. And especially post-Genesis, people are really looking forward to figuring out what Strife's deal was and what his adventures were and everything. Because he rolls up with everybody else, so he's alive and well and ready to kick ass. But where was he in the 100 years between this stuff getting started and the main part of the Darksiders game?
Because the only hint we get is basically his brief cameo in Darksiders 3.
So, like, yeah, and like basically the little bit of him we get to see in Darksiders Genesis, which takes place
before this game by a lot. Like, I think humanity was like basically like in our nomad phase. Like, we'd gone out of like the Stone Age and like we were basically wandering from place to place.
But it's like,
Get to see a little bit of Strife there.
Yeah.
And Strife is a cool character as well. And like, he plays off war really well.
I think it'd be interesting to see what his game would be, because, like, he seems really chill compared to the other horsemen and would approach things a lot differently. Like, he wouldn't just walk in, be dour at some kind of giant monster and just kill it like all 3 of the other ones are. So it might be fun. I'm thinking of like the Destiny trailer, like the Destiny 2 trailers, where you get the flashes between like how Zavala's selling the game and how Cade 6 is selling the game.
Yeah. The way Strife has been like portrayed by the series so far, that is a very apt description between.
So like I feel like Darksiders 4, I guess, would be really fun, but it's like after that, they really have nowhere to go other than the goddamn sequel that was promised us at the end of this game.
Yeah, basically, like. Like that, like honestly, if they didn't go for go for a direct sequel, this was probably really the only path they could take.
But the problem is now they're going to have 4 games worth of immense hype for that game when it comes out. I mean, the two options are, one, it's going to be super, super hyped, and it's going to be like a Duke Nukem Forever situation, where
yeah.
there's just a lot of hype and a lot of build-up to, like, a game that had better be, like, the greatest game ever made to, like, justify the wait and all of the hype, or by the time it comes out, no one cares.
It's starting to get kind of closer to the latter, though.
If Darksiders 4 comes out and it's good enough, I think that that's going to keep the franchise alive a little bit longer.
Like, I hope so, because, like, I mean, like, this franchise isn't, like, super big, and it's not, like, something that I'm super nostalgic for, but, like, it's earned a small spot in my heart, which isn't, like, super easy to do, all things considered. Like, I kind of get bored of things fairly easily, all things considered.
I mean, I have no problem, but basically, like, I enjoyed Darksiders enough that I'm more than willing to play Darksiders 2 or 3, or even Genesis or whatever, even though it's a completely different style of game. Like, Darksiders was good enough to me to justify Darksiders 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah, alright, like, basically, I enjoyed that, I'll buy tickets to the next one, you know? It's not groundbreaking, though. Like, it's good enough, and it's fun in its own way that I'm not gonna, like, trash it more than I have been. I just noticed there's a TM on the Darksiders logo on the screen. Oh my god, okay, never mind, I hate it.
Well,
Next time on Game Quest.
see
We'll see you in the next game, guys.
ya.